everyone, my name is Shivani Tyagi, your philosophy and ethics teacher. So we are going to discuss Jain philosophy. So Jainism philosophy was like a balance between other philosophies. Why it's so? Because if you remember in my previous videos, I shared with you that Vedanta believed in Brahma reality, right? The sole Brahma, the only Brahma, right? And Vedanta was more inclined towards Brahma, and other theories like Buddhism was basically their theory was like manyness, momentariness, right? So these were the philosophies, the different philosophies that were coming and seen in Indian philosophy. But Jainism came with the solution saying about Anekantvad. It says that one can have different reality. They can have different viewpoints also, different truth also. So we should not only understand that, we should also accept it and implement it. Now, so we understood that it talks about Jiva and Ajiva. Now Jiva is which is about soul, about consciousness, right? And Ajiva is known soul, right? So these were the dravyas that we discussed, that Jiva, Pudgala, Dharma, Adharma and Akash Kala, right? On basis of these dravyas, basically this philosophy kept Adharma, Dharma, Akash, Kal, Pudgal, right? This philosophy kept Ajiva in non-materialism things, right? And realism and pluralism, it talks about anekantvad, right? That affects affirmed that there are multiple aspects to the reality, right? And if we implement this in today's world, don't you think it will be like without chaos, and there will be balance in the society, right? Because even in today's life, politically, we see we have conflicts. Why we have conflicts? Because we have different understanding from certain points of views, right, on same topic, right? So if we understand this in the form of Anekantvad view, then we'll be able to know that there is another reality also. This is why it comes with Syat, right? And Syat says that there are true in some aspect. It talks about Syat, that reality that you are mentioning is true in some respect. Right? So it is a doctrine of many-sided realities. Right? Every object has multiple aspects. If we implement this in today's life, it will be a balanced society, right? And especially in Indian culture, where we can see different castes, religions, so many varieties, but still we are living under the same roof. Now, why is it so? Because we try to, not fully, like it's very like impossible because of the greed, because of the emotions that Jainism also mentions about, because we have these bhav in us and we cannot basically distinguish, right? We cannot understand them, so it gets very difficult to implement all of that in one. But yes, if we try to understand at least some part of it, then I think the society will be in balanced form. Now, as I gave you example in the last form, in the last class, that there was like 6 men and they were stand in the front of the elephant and they were told to touch part of that elephant, right? And they like gave different perspective of there, and Jainism accepted their point of view, saying that they are true in their viewpoint, right? In some respect they were true, right? So this was the reason that Jainism came. Now Syadvad, it's a doctrine of conditional predictions, that in some respect it could be true. Now if you have different political ideology. Now, if you remember that I shared one example with you, Charlie Kirk, if you remember, he was representative of Trump party, and he was a spokesperson, and he was a rightist, and he used to go to basically universities and speak and do debates with students, right? So he was shot in front of like students, and like that there were thousands of people, right? So if we understand and look at these scenarios and these situations and understand the Jainism theory, I think then it will be a balanced society. Because looking at these example, it still explains that there are few people who need to understand that their point of view is there and they can be right also. Because this in some respect tells us that there are certain portion which is left for you and certain portion which is left for them. And if we understand this different, then only there will be a balanced society. Then reality is many-sided, truth is contextual. By this example, we know, and especially about Charlie Kirk, it was the like most like I think absurd thing that a human can do, right? Because you are not identifying their ideologies to be suitable according to your life. You are not supposed to kill that person. As Hegel, a philosopher, once said that these rivalries should be accepted. Why they should be accepted? Because these rivalries and these killings and these revolutions leads us to some balanced society, right? So this is what Hegel says. But do we actually need these non-violence kind of things? although Hegel didn't mention violence correctly, but this is what he meant if we see his and read his philosophy. Now, here he talks about Saptabhanga. So these are the 7 modes which leads us towards basically Syadvad, right? So what are these 7 modes? Like Syad Asti, things that exist, right? These were the 7 modes that we discussed, right? So things that are existing, things that are not existing, things are that can be described, things that cannot be described but existing. So these are the 7 modes that we have. Now, what is the purpose of it? So it avoids contradictions and dogmatism. As I said, that we human beings have so many reality, and to understand all and to implement them all is very, very tough, right? So this is why it is important to understand Saptabhangya, right? And encourages tolerance and flexibility. If you are understanding there can be other truth, right? There are other angle of that truth. And if we try to understand it, implement it, then it will help us to have tolerance in our character, and flexibility will be seen in the society. Reviles philosophies and promotes intellectual non-violence, ahimsa in thought. As Jainism philosophy was based on ahimsa, non-violence, right? So this was the purpose of doing it. And non-violence is not something physical non-violence it talks about. It also talks about mental non-violence that we have, hatred towards something, greedy behavior, right? So this also mentioned that we should have control in this, right? Now, let's understand from understanding reality to living it. For example, you are coming to my classes regularly, you are seeing my videos regularly, right? And you cleared your optional exam also. You are sitting in front of front of our interviewer, and you are ready to give that interview. But just pause for a second and think that you learn from my classes, you learn from books, the notes I gave to you, you saw my videos. But are you going to, like after clearing that interview, are you going to implement those thoughts of these philosophers in real life? If yes, then make sure that you are clearing this paper. It's very nice, but if not, then I think you should pause and think. And then you should not do this. Why? Because you should clear this paper for yourself, right? For your well-being, right? So this is what it says. Getting knowledge is not the sole purpose, but living with it and living in it is the it should be the agenda. Then right knowledge must lead to right conduct. Whatever knowledge you are getting, first thing is that it's from for sources which are trustworthy, and second thing is that all the sources that trustworthy knowledge that you are getting, it should be implemented in real life also. And the karmic behavior, karma that they are talking about, the karma, the actions they are talking about, it should lead towards some right conduct, right? The consequences should not be negative. That also we have to manage. Then karma connects metaphysics with ethics, right? Metaphysics asks the questions that what life is, right? Ethics is more about morality, and this is how it tells us that how life should be generated with morality, how pure, basically peaceful society should it be, and when it comes to Nekanvad theories. So every action leaves a karmic trace. So whatever knowledge, so first step is getting knowledge. So whatever knowledge you are getting, make sure that it's trustworthy, right? It's not false. Then second is that after knowledge, after having knowledge, it is important that the karmic behavior of yours, that actions are generating with right conduct. So whatever right conduct you are having, so that you can have good consequences of that action, make sure that you are going towards it. And these all steps are important, and it should go in this way, right? Next, let's understand that karma is real, subtle matter binding to soul, right? And basically it is which can be not basically moved out from ourselves, right? And to this philosopher Hegel, if you remember, I shared his theory with you also. He says that once a person is born, right, he is condemned to be free, and somehow and something related to it. Why is it so? Because Hegel also says that once you are born, you are like filled with basically responsibilities. What human wants to do when he gets to see that these are the responsibilities I have, basically that person run towards freedom. And when that person is running towards freedom, he get trapped in more and more responsibilities, right? This is why Hegel says that a person can never be free, a human being is condemned to be free. So this is a basically quotation which I adore a lot and I follow a lot, because this is true. In today's reality, we are learning, like basically running towards freedom, that if I'll get this, then I'll have peace. If I'll get this, then I'll be thankful to God. But this is never the case. We are never free. This greed of ours never settles. And this is what Jain talks about. And then we have Ashava, inflow of karma. So it's like there is never stopping of this karma that we are going to. Then we talks about bondage of karma, bandha. So bandha is basically, it's more towards materialistic world. Once you are in this world, you have all these emotions that you want more and more, right? These rising corruption cases are the example of this. The recent corruption case, I think it was from Karnataka, where a woman was seen taking bribery on her first day. I think 10,000 it was. Now she also read these philosophers. She also read ethics, right? And she also gave that interview. But still, this bondage, this bandha, right? So this bondage of karma, right? It led her toward these actions. And then Kashya, passions, glue making karma stick. So this Kashya is basically like a glue which is stick to our soul, right? So these are the things that we have to remember when it comes to Jain philosophy. Now it talks about bhava bandha. So bhava bandha, it is basically, bhava is divided into two parts. Now first is mental, this is internal, right? And then we have external, right? So these externals are what? Basically, these are physical bondings that we have, right? So these two types of bondings are there. First one is bhava bandha, which is mental readiness for karma. So inner state, all these emotions like greed is there, anger is there, honesty is there. So these are what? These are bhava bandha. Then we have dravya bandha. Dravya is what? Substance, right? Basically, substance, materialism that we are talking about, right? So this is physical binding of karmic and matter. So this is outer state, right? External state that we are talking about. Then this bhava bandha is very important to be controlled, otherwise it will lead you to dravya bandha, right? So it is important that you are basically handling your greediness, right? If you are not handling that, it will lead you to basically corruption, right? To corrupted behavior. So make sure that you are handling this bhava bandha efficiently and it is not leading towards dravya bandha. Then bhava causes dravya and freedom begins within it. Once you have control of bhava, once you know that what materialism is, what liberation is, how you get the moksha, you have right conduct of knowledge. If you have knowledge of all of these, according to Jain philosophy, you have control on this part, then you can have control on this one. So thank you for this. I'll be coming with the new part of it. Thank you.